The 3DS eShop is closed, and with that, over 1,100 games are gone, never to return again. Well, some aren't. A few have been ported to other platforms like PC or Switch, but the point stands, and it's unlikely that we'll see another dual screen handheld unless the Switch 2 looks like this. But fear not, emulation, modders, and underground preservationists have come to save the day. Hello world and all who inhabit it, it is I, the Great Sayran, and this is a hacked 3DS. I bought it from Japan from a site I was suggested called Vids. I paid $90 for this 3DS XL and just $12 for 2 to 5 day shipping. I bought it very late on a Monday night and had it in my hands and hacked by Sunday evening. I know it's a meme about how easy it is to hack a 3DS, but it was actually really easy. I got this 3DS from Japan, so it was in Japanese. I had to use Google Lens plus Translate to translate the setup, and once that was done, it literally took me maybe 30 minutes to hack this thing. I'll link the videos I used down below, but for the most accurate and recent information, you want to use 3ds.hacks.guide. I strained most of the hacking process until I ran into an issue with sound hacks because I was stupidly using the US version of the file, not the Japanese version, which was the region that the 3DS was originally from. I never claimed to be smart. After that, it was extremely easy to change the region to US and start loading in my ROMs. One of the easiest things to do, but everyone seems to ask where to find. Well, I have an answer, but before that, we gotta talk about the legality of all this. It is illegal to download the ROMs of games you do not own off the internet. That's it. There is no debating that. It's extremely easy to get these ROMs, but just because you can doesn't mean you should. I am going to explicitly state that you should never download ROMs of games you don't own. And shame on you if you do. Now, while my morality is caught up in deeper issues, my piracy line is, can I legally obtain this item by providing currency to the license holder? And if the answer is no, then I don't feel bad. Indie games I avoid because that just feels wrong, but in general, I don't give a f. I can't tell you where to draw that line. It is stealing, but we also can't pay for these items anymore. It's a real dilemma that people argue for and against on the daily. Also, I bought a lot of games in the past that I might not have the cartridges for anymore. I was 12. Take a game like Dragon Ball Origins. It's a fun game I have a lot of nostalgia for on the DS that Atari published, and with the state that they're in, I highly doubt they're gonna remaster this game and sell it on modern platforms. The Pokemon games are another example of games that are just lost since the DS eShop closed. I went through a weird gaming is lame phase, so I missed out on Pokemon generations 5, 6, and 7. Buying the physical cartridges for these things costs an absurd amount, but I want to experience Pokemon Black 2 since I never got to. Well, by hacking my 3DS, I can dump cartridges straight to the system, no external equipment required. And theoretically, I could put every single Pokemon game on my 3DS, including the virtual console ones like Pokemon Yellow and Crystal versions. I even started a playthrough of Pokemon Black 2 with Sniggles, my Snivy. So yes, hacking and pirating saved the 3DS regardless of how some may feel about it. I did run into one issue with Pokemon Sun, Moon, Ultra Sun, and Ultra Moon. See, I bought an old 3DS XL, not a new 3DS XL. Apparently, when you region change an old 3DS XL, like I did with this originally Japanese one, you will lose the ability to run games that uses extended memory mode, like Gen 7 Pokemon games, Smash Bros, and some other one I can't remember right now. The screen goes black and you can't go home or do anything besides hold power for 10 seconds and reboot the system. The fix supposedly is to format the system via system settings or tiny format, but that didn't work for me. But back to how I got games on here in the first place. There's this amazing thing called hshop, and I believe the H stands for holy shit. That's a lot of games. hshop was one of the easiest installs I've ever done. Just go to hshop.com and either use remote install in FBI with your 3DS cameras, or download the .cia file, put it in your CIA's folder, open FBI, and install from there. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, it's because you haven't hacked your 3DS. hshop is basically a directory of almost all the games the 3DS has to offer from different regions thanks to the work of underground preservationists. You can find obscure games, popular games, ROM hacks, and even videos like these E3 trailers. Don't know why you would though. This is a huge step in the right direction for the game's preservation. Now you don't have to keep up with cartridges or worry that Nintendo will stop allowing you to download your games from their servers. I mean, Pokemon Bank even works on here, which I believe is compatible with Pokemon Home on Switch. I'm also an OG DS connoisseur, and there's a shop for those games as well called the Ghost Shop. And the Ghost is because that's how hard it is to find cheap physical DS games. I even put a widescreen mod on these games that forces a 16:10 aspect ratio and corrects the pixelated look this would normally cause. Now these games look absolutely beautiful in a new way. You can also get your GBA ROMs on here and play it in an app called Twilight. I don't think those have a specific shop that I know of, so you're gonna have to rip those the old-fashioned way. Some of the other things you can do with a hacked 3DS is have custom themes. They're pretty easy to download, and though eshop has a few, I really like the fan-made ones like this one based on Bayonetta Origins, a game that just came out 3 weeks ago. You'll need the Anemone app to get these up and running. There's also apps like YouTube and other apps people are creating. I recently saw a video of the gaming merchant using a 3DS as a controller to play Apex Legends. It didn't work well, but it worked. There is a super dedicated community for 3DS modding. I was even able to get help in a 3DS modding Discord server when I had trouble. Those guys were so nice and responsive, and I think one of the guys that I was talking to made the Twilight app himself. Like, what? Seeing how much support the 3DS modding scene has is probably why this is going to be my go-to emulator. I don't care to go beyond the 3DS when it comes to handheld games, and the only retro consoles I'd like to play are PS2 and GameCube. For PlayStation 2, it's only Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 3, but they're actually PC mods to the games that are easier to play and come with actual multiplayer. And with GameCube, I really don't care to play that portably. All the major games have just about been ported to modern consoles, like Metro Prime 4 and others that are coming later this year. The more obscure games like Mega Man X Command Mission and Mega Man Network Transmission are great to revisit, but I'm not dying to replay those like I am some Game Boy Advance and DS games from my youth. Playing these portably would be great, but the price of devices that can do this start at around double what I paid for this setup. I think dedicated handheld emulators are cool, but I haven't found one that does the dual screen setup easily or cheaply. Probably a fault of Android, which most of these emulators are built on. The big screen little screen combo on these devices, or even my iPhone, are just not ideal, so having the device that these games were made for just feels right. I typically don't care about playing games on original hardware, but with DS and 3DS games, you almost have to. This experience overall has been extremely eye-opening to what people fight for when they talk about games preservation. We, the fans who spend the most money, want to give these corporations more money, but they won't let us. I understand that keeping these shops open costs money, and maybe the 5% of us who are super dedicated fans just aren't enough. Hopefully going forward with the Switch, Nintendo keeps one central marketplace open where people can buy games for years and years to come. Xbox does a great job with this. You can still buy digital OG Xbox games on your Series X or S. It's not every single game ever made for the console, but it's better than what Nintendo is doing. Sony seems to be keeping PS4 games around their shop, but only time will tell if they get rid of those like they did PS3. The gist of all this emulation modding talk is yes, the community will take care of games preservation as best as they can, as legally as they can, but they shouldn't have to. The Nintendo eShop currently has around 5,000 Switch games, and we can't rely on creators like Gerard the Completionist to buy every single Switch eShop game and then donate it to preservation every single time a digital storefront closes. As an all-digital gamer, I have ways to make sure I can always play these digital games, but I shouldn't have to. The game should just be supported. But if you want to support me, be sure to check out some of my other videos like the one on PC ports versus console ports. And also be sure to like, comment, subscribe, all the good stuff, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.